Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon. Shivani, nice to see you. Subhasini, Hitesh sir.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Rao sir.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Yogesh Yadav.
Yes, good afternoon, Yogesh sir. Should we wait for 2 more minutes?
I think so, ma'am. We should.
हेलो शिवानी। आवाज नहीं आ रही।
आ रही प्रीति मैम। गुड आफ्टरनून।
गुड आफ्टरनून। मैं ये पूछ रही थी कि अभी हमारी बुक्स नहीं आई क्या?
आ गई है प्रीति मैम बुक्स।
2-3 बार रिमाइंडर्स भी दिए मैंने और आ ही नहीं है, मतलब डिस्पैच नहीं करी इन लोगों ने।
आप एक बार गुरविंदर जी से पूछ लीजिए मैम। आ गई हैं बुक्स। मोस्ट ऑफ द पीपल हैव रिसीव्ड इट।
ओके ओके।
You got Sarita ma'am's number.
मिल गई।
सरिता जी को बात कर लो, सरिता वेस्ट।
अच्छा
I'll send a
अच्छा।
number.
आई वांट टू डिस्कस एक ना, जैसे मैं आईएसटीडी के गुड़गांव चैप्टर वाले ग्रुप में एडेड हूँ, तो उसमें ना एक कॉन्फ्रेंस का ब्रोशर आया था। आई होप आप लोगों को भी आया होगा।
प्रीति मैम वैसे तो नहीं आया है। एक काम करते हैं, क्लास के बाद हम डिस्कस कर लेते हैं। मैम इज ऑल्सो हियर।
Section on.
Good
मैम इज हियर।
afternoon, Dr. Preeti.
Good
हेलो।
afternoon, ma'am.
Okay, so we've got a sizable amount. Dr. Preeti, you can have a discussion later on. Is that okay?
हाँ हाँ, श्योर श्योर मैम।
No problem, right? Okay. So it's 12:04 and we've got around 20 participants, including me. So I think it's a good time we can start. All right. So we finished 2 classes last week. And again, this week also, we are going to have 2 classes. Last week, we completed module 1 of your syllabus. So we looked at interpersonal skills, then listening skills, different communicating styles, all of that we are covered. Today, we move on to module 2. So let me just start by sharing the screen. Okay, so it's class 3 and we are going to move to module 2, which is on communication skills, written communication skills. So we discussed last time the 7 C's of communication. कुछ याद आ रहा है?
Yes, ma'am.
So what are the 7 C's?
Is complete, concrete, concise, consideration, courteous, clear, and correct.
Perfect. You've written it down and your notes are
Yes.
there with you and all
Yes,
ready.
ma'am.
Fantastic. So we have these
अच्छे
7
स्टूडेंट का यही लक्षण होता है.
Sorry, what was that?
अच्छे स्टूडेंट्स लिख लेते हैं.
Haan. I am not sure to put you in the category of students, but that's the problem.
नहीं, at present we are students only.
But yes, so thank you very much. Well noted down and absolutely correct. So we looked at these 7 C's in terms of interpersonal communication. Do you think these 7 C's will be applicable in written communication as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely correct.
Yes.
So what we are going to do is, we're going to add to these 7 C's, but we're going to use these 7 C's to do 2 things that we need to work to do mostly as trainers.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon. So as trainers, there are 2 documents that we have to continuously prepare. One is training proposals and the second is training reports. So one is before a training program, one is after a training program. So what we're going to do is, we're going to learn by actually doing it. So we'll have a group discussion, or I'll divide you into 2 groups. Each group will go in a different breakout room. All those who are going in a breakout room number 1, they have to prepare a training proposal. All those who are going into breakout number 2 has to prepare a training report. Now, what is the background? So for both the groups, background remains the same. Is that the training program? So group 1 is going to talk about giving a proposal to conduct a 1-day training program on team building. Okay, so you've been invited to conduct this training program. It's a 1-day training program, and the topic given to you is team building. Who is going to attend this training program? It's going to be for one company. There's sales people. The sales teams will be arriving from all over India, and they're going to gather at the head office. There are 25 of them, and you have to arrange a training program for this. So the proposal people are going to give a proposal on this. All those who are going to give a report, this is the training program that you have conducted, and now you have to give a report on it. Okay? So you have to prepare this. You have 15 minutes to do so in your groups. After the 15 minutes are over, we'll come back into the main group. In the main session, any one of you can present your proposal or your report. And then we can, but presentation time is not much, okay? 5 to 7 minutes only, because we would rather give you feedback. And feedback is not something that only I am going to give. All of us are going to give other teams the feedback. What could be added, what was unnecessary, etc., etc. All right? Any questions? Or should I put you in breakout rooms?
This is 1-day team building training program.
1-day team building training program.
Okay.
Group of 25 sales people who are going to come from all over India.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You are an outsider.
Okay.
Or you can assume whether you want to be within the company or you want to be outside the company. Up to you. You can assume something. All right.
Strategic partners, na? So we should be within the company.
I'm sorry, what was that, Hitesh?
I'm saying we are strategic partners for them, so we should be within the company.
You decide in your team what you would like to do. You could be an internal L&D head who has been given the task of designing the program. Could be that way. Or you could be a strategic partner. You could be a vendor, consultant, whatever. So in your own teams, you assume whatever you want to assume. Accordingly, prepare the proposal.
This proposal needs to be sent to whom?
If it's an outsider, then it has to be sent to the L&D people and get an approval. If it's an internal, you still need to send it to your manager and get an approval. Proposal is always for an approval.
Okay.
Any more questions?
No question, ma'am.
Okay. If no
We-
questions, I'm going to put you in the breakout rooms.
One
As
more
soon as
question.
you get the message, please join the group. You have
Being an
15
outsider,
minutes.
we'll have to give the budgeting also, costing also. Being in,
Yes, you
Okay.
can.
okay.
Actually, I want to know what all you include. That's the whole idea of giving this exercise. So,
Fantastic.
अंदर क्या क्या डाला है आपने? What all is included? Even if you give any random figures for the budget, I'm not going to talk to you about, ये figure कहाँ से आया, ये कैसे आया. But we are just going to see what all is included in the report. Is it good? Can it be improved, etc.
Hypothetical.
All right. I'm opening the rooms now for all of you. योगेश जी, पुरुषोत्तम जी, श्रीजीत जी, आपको मैसेज मिला नहीं है? Darlene, were you thrown out? Darlene and Vikas?
Ma'am,
Yeah,
I
madam.
just joined.
Yeah, I've just joined, ma'am. Actually, I was in meeting. I just joined.
Okay, so I'll put you in a breakout room. There is a exercise that is going on. What
Sure,
about you,
sure.
Darlene?
Yeah, ma'am, I just joined. You
Oh,
can
you
drop me
just
in a group.
joined. Okay. So I'll put you into breakout rooms.
Okay.
Yogesh and Shubham, which room were you in? Were you thrown out?
Actually, I don't know. I joined quite late, so I will prefer being here only right now.
Okay, so I will put you in one of the breakout rooms.
Okay. Okay.
चैट रूम जल्दी बंद हो गया जी, वो चल रहा था अभी काम ना, so it is
काम तो कभी खत्म ही नहीं होता है सर, आई अग्री।
नहीं
स्पेशली
नहीं
स्पेशली
पुनीत was
बहुत
telling
कम
that
मिला है, काफी इंटरेस्टिंग टॉपिक था, इसको आधा घंटा मिलना चाहिए था इस
ma'am, when it is especially suggestive discussion, no, so that will go a little longer than expected.
I agree 100%, but I'm sure you also agree as a trainer
Yeah.
कि अपने पास टाइम ही नहीं रहता है कभी.
Yes. Yes.
So we have to stop it somewhere and then we have to take it up further. So all the things that you wanted to discuss, we can now add it over here in our main group. Okay. So I'll ask anybody from breakout room number 1 anyone from the team can start and talk about the proposal. What all have you included in the proposal?
Ivani, I
Okay.
think you have noted.
Yes, yes. Thank you, ma'am, for
Anybody
giving
else
me an
wants to
opportunity.
volunteer? Okay, but
Yes,
because she has noted, she'll be better presenter.
I would be very happy, Rao sir, if you can start off with our idea and agenda, and
No,
then
no,
I
you
can
start,
present
you
because
start.
I made the entire document itself. I thought 5 to
Okay,
7 minutes
we'll
would be
go
fine with the
jointly, sir.
document.
Rao sir, please lead.
Yeah.
Okay, I will start, but next they will take over.
Yes.
So first thing, thanks for the opportunity, ma'am. It was like our routine thing only, so discussion about a proposal. So normally I am at the receiving end, but today I am part of the preparation team. So first thing we have thought was give sufficient time for the training, which is the main problem, because as you mentioned, these people are from all over India. And I want to mention that we are from inside only. We are L&D team of the company, ABC or XYZ?
XYZ.
XYZ.
Company.
It's okay, sir.
So,
The same
so
material.
we have thought that first we will give sufficient time. We have given 1 month time. Then we have put proposal in place. So next, who will take over?
DP sir, you can
Shivani
take it
ma'am,
over from
please
here.
go ahead with objectives. Shivani ma'am,
Objectives.
please go ahead with objectives.
Okay, sir. Okay. Ma'am, may I have the permission to present because I created the document itself to save the time. So if your
Yes.
permission is there.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, just a second, ma'am. Okay, just a second, ma'am. I hope it's visible now.
Yeah.
Yes,
Is it visible,
Yes,
ma'am?
visible.
Yeah, ma'am. So in a very small time, this is how the proposal should look, I believe. Presented to Mr. N.S. Rao, sir, who is our N&D manager. Proposed by, sorry, it must be Shubhashini, but I just write Sudhashini. Sorry, Subhashini. Then, ma'am, it should start with the introduction.
Was our HOD sir.
Yeah, so it should be started with the introduction like this, ma'am, that in today's competitive sales environment, teamwork plays crucial role. And one-day team building training program is designed to strengthen collaboration, communication, and synergy with XYZ Limited's sales team, ensuring improved performance and better results. Then objectives, we all brainstormed on these objectives. First is enhance trust and collaboration among team members, improve communication and interpersonal relationships, develop problem solving and decision making skills, foster a high performance team culture, align individual goals with organizational objectives. Then, who will be our target audience? So, 25 sales professionals from various regions across India working with XYZ Limited. Training methodology, we all thought that it must be highly interactive. So, experiential learning activities, group discussions, real world case studies, self assessment, evaluation, and reflection exercises, and action planning for implementation. Then training agenda, ma'am, this is not well thought through because we had less time. But yeah, I just wanted to give like time slot, session, and description. We can present over the period that what we want to do, the entire calendar, so that if there are any changes from the management, we can improve at the planning stage only. Then training material, participants handbook, case studies, and workbook. Any customized training slides which we want to provide to the participant, maybe some checklist, toolbox, and everything. And then feedback forms and certificates if we are providing any. Then expected outcomes should be the understanding of the importance of teamwork in the sales success, better communication and problem solving abilities, to learn practical strategies, improving the collaboration in a remote setting because everyone is working across India, and then to commit an actionable plan where we are enhancing the team synergy as well. Then trainer profile, if we are engaging with any subject matter experts from outside of the organization, that, and if within the team also some trainer profile should be there. And then investment in logistic, ma'am. And there should be one more thing which I was doing, but the time got over. There should be a conclusion also over here in the place where we are summing up the vision and what we want to achieve from it. And then, of course, thanking and leaving it over here.
Can you just scroll up. I just want to note down things so that we can give
Yes.
feedback. So
Yes, ma'am.
objectives, or after that,
Target audience,
objectives, audience, okay. Then
then
methodology,
methodology,
okay. Agenda,
then training agenda,
all right. Please go.
then
Mm.
materials, training materials, then expected outcomes,
Okay. Trainer
then
profile.
trainer profile, then investment in logistic, venue, duration, and everything, and then conclusion, which we were not able to complete.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Now I leave it to open to the other team. Would you like to add anything in this particular document, or all good?
I believe in the stipulated time, they all have done a fantastic job. मतलब इतना सारा चीज incorporate करना, it's a big ask. मेरे को लगा कि शायद ज्यादा टाइम तो नहीं दे दिया.
Thank you, Hitesh sir. All thanks to our discussions जो एग्जाम्स के टाइम हम कर रहे थे, तो अभी हमें आदत हुई हो गई है वो केस स्टडी से निकाल के लिखने की. All the papers were about this only, no?
I believe it is a concrete one. Obviously, madam is an expert in that, so you'll get more insight.
All right. Wonderful. What else? Anything else? This is good feedback. Any improvement, developmental feedback?
I think we forgot feedback word.
Okay. So how, so what, in terms of after the training, or how
Yeah,
the
post
success
training
of the
feedback
training will be
mention करना
evaluated?
भूल गए.
Sir, I have mentioned
अच्छा,
reflection
evaluation you
exercises.
mentioned. Okay, evaluation.
Yeah, so reflection exercises are from trainees
Okay,
only.
okay.
That how
Yes.
did you feel? How was the trainer was doing? So those reflections only.
I believe the follow-up
We can write it
mechanism
as
is
feedback.
missing.
Sorry, what was that?
The follow-up mechanism post this program, or how will you be going about measuring the impact?
Yeah, post training evaluation.
Post or during, or post, both can happen.
Correct, sir. So self-assessment, evaluation, and reflection/feedback exercises, sir. I believe yes, we can add something over here.
But you put all that in the training methodologies, correct?
Correct, ma'am. Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Now, ideally, you should give it as a separate thing,
Okay.
separate heading, like the way you've given, training methodology, training agenda. That is where you have to talk about evaluation of the training program. It's a proposal, and there is some financial implications. Okay, so in your proposal, are we really going to meet our training objectives? Are the learning outcomes going to be met? How you will measure that? That is the evaluation part. So you have a full paper on evaluation. So would you like to go through the, Kirkpatrick model, or are you going to give a pre-test, post-test? Are you going to check the evaluation by taking all the quizzes and self-reflection are also here? But put it under a separate heading, because see, now I'm going to ask Mr. Rao here, because he is normally on the other side of the table, he said.
Yes.
So when you get a proposal, sir, what is it that you really look for? How will you give an okay for it?
Ma'am, actually we will see the target group and the inputs by the proposal, the resource people from where they are drawing, what is the resource person experience, and past ratings. If they have given anything, if they're already empaneled in our thing, that is already with us. If it is a new entity or new person, we will ask them their past records. So main thing, because ours is a very big organization, money is not a problem.
Money-wise, you will not worry about it. Okay.
Normally
But
we
now
get.
you're again in this, when you prepared the proposal, you have assumed that it will be an internal proposal.
Yes.
Okay. So then trainer would be an internal trainer?
No, internal proposal, we can propose outsiders also resource person, because normally in all organizations we don't get
Okay.
research,
So in this case, the
resource
assumption is that you have prepared the proposal, you're part of the team, but the training will be done by somebody else. who's an outsider.
Yeah.
Okay. So then that
Shivani,
is
that is the same, no? We assume that trainers will be from outside.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There will be some subject matter expert will be asking
And
them
we
to
thought
come.
we will include 1 or 2 executives in the same field inside for 1 or 2 sessions or some interaction with the participants.
Correct.
Participants, yes, sir.
So can you go to that trainer information that you have written, that item? Trainer profile. Okay. So now, of course, I understand you don't have the time. But like Rao sir said, your proposal is either going to be accepted or not accepted, depending on one very important factor, that is the trainer profile.
Yes.
So this is something we will have to add and maybe give it before everything else.
Yes, ma'am. I think it is the prime most thing.
Yes. If you are an outsider, आप बाहर से proposal भेज रहे, you're a vendor, let's say, or you're a consultant, then introduction, I mean, little bit of objectives के बाद, who are you? Your credentials, your, background, number of hours of training they've done, similar companies, that becomes prime. So there is, like, these are absolutely correct what you're given. The headings, all this must be included in the proposal. But what comes first, what comes second also has importance, mainly
Yes.
because somebody has to accept it.
Structure.
Now, if you're giving the proposal to a company like Rouser's company, money is not important at all. Okay. So last mein budget ka one-liner dal diya, all right. But then there are some companies who are very, very interested. Even if you're an internal, person and making a proposal to your own manager, this is the budget. So out of the total training budget, kitna ja raha hai? It is a decision-making point out here. So you might want to include that. Who is bearing? Under which heading does it go? Like, does it come under HR, L&D, or will it be absorbed by their individual department? So budget kitna hai per head, etc. All that might have to be.
Actually, annual budget will be there, madam, L&D activities.
Yes,
So,
annual budget is there. In that case, you don't have to worry so much. I'm just giving you inputs. Sometimes the annual budget may be there, but under which department will it go? So maybe this is an exclusive training program for the salesperson. Let it go under the sales budget, no? Why are we getting it into our head, our budget? Why are we taking our budget away? So see, when you are the manager, you are going to think about all this, right? So like,
Yes, ma'am.
Venkatraman, correct, sponsor of the program. So obviously this is what these are very critical things that might affect you when you're taking a decision. And if that is the case, please mention it here. Now, if you're an outsider, none of this is going to make an effect. Budget kya hai, etc. But you will have to give and justify the amount that you have charged. So you might say that, okay, for these 25 people, I'm going to charge you 1 lakh rupees. Okay, now suddenly if you put in 1 lakh, अरे इतना budget, तो फिर छोड़ ही दो. So you'll have to justify that. So which this 1 lakh will include the venue, the food, this, that, whatever it is that you want.
logistics and all.
So you, depending on whom you're preparing the budget and who you are, these budget details will increase or decrease. Now, there is this objectives that you have given, very good ones for this program. Can you go back to the, Shivani, can you scroll down and tell me the learning outcomes? या ऐसा कुछ तो था ना एक आपके नीचे? Expected outcomes. Is this same or different? Okay, just let me note down. Understand the importance of teamwork in sales success, develop better communication and problem solving, learn practical strategies to improve collaboration, commit to an actionable plan. Okay, now can you go up for the goals? Okay. See, there is also one thing, that there has to be one objective which is to be connected with the company. So if the company is going to be spending a sizable amount of time in training, how will it help the company? It's a proposal. It's a sales document.
Ma'am, maybe we can add to improve the productivity, because to increase the sales percentage also. So that can be.
So connect it to some of the TNIs that you have. So maybe, conflicts here that will come down. Now you have talked about improved communication, collaboration. Maybe, there is less.
Enhancing customer satisfaction.
Could be. Now you decide whatever it is. But then that is something we need to, you look at it whenever you are doing a proposal. Receiver's point of view, what is he going to require to take a decision whether to give you this training program or not? So the effect, our objectives, now these are very good in terms of the training program, that at the end of the training, the objective of the training is to enhance trust and collaboration. Now the expected outcomes also you can get here. There are two things. There's an objective and there are learning outcomes. They are slightly different. So learning outcome, now your objective, you have written importance of teamwork in the sales success. That is the expected outcome. How? By collaborating. So objective and learning outcomes. This is important. Get it one below the other. And don't write expected, write learning outcomes. This is what they are going to learn at the end of the day. But somewhere there has to be a one-liner objective, how it is going to be connected to our increase in sales, customer satisfaction, decrease in complaints, whatever it is. Typically, if you're an insider, you will have a TNI done. So get that over here. If you're an outsider, in spite of that, try and relate these objectives to the company's success. Okay, that's our sales point. Na? Otherwise, proposal hai. If somebody else has an awful program, अच्छा नहीं है आपके जैसे आपने बनाया वैसे, but उसका sales pitch अच्छा है, he will get the this thing, program.
Cool.
We won't. So please remember, it is a sales pitch, and as the writer of a proposal, we have to help the reader take a decision. Okay.
Right, ma'am.
So everything to take decisions. So now we have to all assume that you are Rao sirs, and Rao sir कैसे देंगे approval? ये सोच के proposal बनाना है. Okay. Content wise, I think everything is included.
But this has to include.
Yes,
Yeah.
Ricky.
I believe one more thing which sorry, yeah, Ricky sir.
I'll come to
sorry.
you, Shivani. Ricky sir, were you saying something?
We need to quantify this also, no? Because in the report
Yes.
also we have to quantify. So unless that objective is clear, how can you report that?
Yeah. So if it is possible, if you are an internal person, you will get figures. You will get your, my aim is to increase your CSAT to so and so, etc. If you're an outsider, you may not get all these details, but linking it up to the company would help. Yes, Shivani.
Yeah, ma'am, I was asking that in the proposal, what we do most of the time, that should we also include the payment schedule? Like sometime if as an outsider, if we are doing so, like 50% advance and 50% later on, or that should be covered in the invoice itself.
No, no.
In the
When we
proposal
do
If
part,
you're
it will be
taking
there,
anything
Shivani.
in advance, it has to be there in the proposal.
Yes, so that also we missed. We had to write over here. We
Yes.
should write over here.
Because
Payment
then,
schedule
We
should
thought
be
we will
clear.
not mention financials. no?
But ma'am, please tell it should be at the last in the sequence or.
usually the budgeting goes last.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Because although it is very important, even if you are an outsider, you
Yes,
don't want it in the beginning. You sell your program. And very often,
Yes.
even like, let's say I'm an internal person or Rao sir, payment money doesn't matter to him. He is willing to go the extra mile, willing to pay you extra, provided you prove to me that it is important.
It's worthwhile and it's going to
worthwhile.
be.
So that is
Okay,
not a
thanks.
problem. Very good. Yes, Saurabh.
Ma'am, hi. Just need to check as an external person, can we add some kind of survey that we did about your company and all that? So can we add that so that it will, give a little impact that what is the market value of those salesperson in?
Will it help this thing, the decision maker?
Uh,
I have
think
something to add here. I'm
Yes.
sorry, I'm cutting it. See, Saurav, whatever Saurav has said, being an external vendor, it is very important for us to actually submit that, because this comes under pre-training. And in pre-training, they have to actually analyze that what is the data, how the teams are performing. Now,
Right.
getting that, they do the field survey. This is actually happens. In the
Hmm.
field survey, you will have to take the permission of the company and you'll have to do that. Once you do the field survey, for example, it's a sales team. You go to sales outlets and other places and actually check that. And then you submit that report that this is what is happening. This is what the reality is. Because
Correct.
that is something which is very concrete and adds value to your training proposal. Otherwise, people don't accept it.
And this will also give a place where we actually improve them.
Yes, definitely.
Quantifiable results. Yes.
Correct.
But Saurabh, if you, if you are doing it, you must add it. But make it short. Too much. See, the thing is, because we put in a lot of effort,
Right.
we want to put it in the proposal.
Right.
However, that is not it's not a decision making criteria for the person reading your proposal. कि आपने कितना research किया है, based on this research, these are the learning outcomes. I am more interested in the learning outcomes and in my how it's going to affect my company. You quantify that, you give this, you give your research as an annexure, absolutely no problem. Mention it that we have done research on our own and then we are proposing this, no problem. But how much details you want to put in the beginning would be something that I'm, I don't want to waste your, nobody is going to read your proposal if it is too lengthy.
Got your point.
As Madam has correctly said, this will be additional details.
Additional details.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, Vikram.
Yeah, ma'am. So I just wanted to share one thing. So if it is going from the external, maybe one thing which could be also added is like the terms and conditions, because mostly into the external proposals, normally we write after the payment schedule. And
Could you
more
repeat
thing.
that, please?
So the terms and condition, like what would be the terms, what are the different conditions, like who's taking the roles and responsibility as well, what kind of role a vendor is having, what kind of a role the organization is having. So that all comes into the terms and conditions after the payment schedule.
Yes. You could add.
Ma'am, can you clarify me, since Vikram has asked for term and condition, it's also important. But the primary target of ours is to get the proposal approved. So that is how we need to keep it very much brief and importance oriented, rather than adding all other things. It may be, I think, negotiated later on also.
VP, here I agree with Vikram if it is a outside proposal.
If it is outside.
Okay.
Yeah, but we are inside only, so terms and condition can be simplified.
You can put in the terms and conditions with reference to who's going to do what. That is what Vikram is saying.
Yeah,
That
that part is okay.
That venue and everything will have to be arranged. Venue, food, etc. will have to be arranged by the company.
Yeah, and sometimes it is not only limited with the roles and responsibility. If you are putting an international, if you are giving a proposal to the international client or international legal entities, then it's very important to have each and every aspect of the legal requirement as part of your proposal as well. Because if there is anything missing which is beyond the control, then those legal terms and conditions will be the savior for you.
Right.
I believe what he meant was fixing accountability.
Yes.
Ma'am, should I?
Yes, please.
Ma'am, as Vikram has said, that is really wonderful. But if we keep on adding, or if we add so many things in detail, like even nowadays the governments are, asking for compliances, legal compliances, international, then ESG, sustainability, and all. So many things can be included, many things can be impacted. As far as I have learning, and I don't know
Depends
whether
upon, I think it
it's
depends
okay
Ideally,
or
upon
what
not.
we do is,
So
target
that
audience.
is generally what I have seen. Generally, the details are given after formally it is the proposal is accepted.
जो
So
विक्रम भी
later on they ask that
that's
formally it is. Sorry,
that's
sir.
also a part of compliance ना जो विक्रम भी बोल रहा है ना वो भी that's also
Right,
a
sir.
part of compliance because जब
I
आप इसको इंटरनेशनल लेवल पे लेके जाते हो तो होता है people do ask for it और जब
So
तक ये नहीं होती वो अप्रूव नहीं होती है एज अ वेंडर तो बहुत
I
ही
can, yeah, it
it,
depends
it,
upon like who's your target audience is. I'll tell you DP. So I'm putting a lot of international proposal for the training at the
That's
moment.
true,
And
very true, and that
really,
is even recognized by UN also.
so
Even we
I
can
understand
comply
what
with
DP
gender
is
aspects
saying,
also.
that, that proposal is to be, it has to be crisp, agreed. But there are
Yes,
certain
ma'am.
important things. Like I said, terms and conditions as per the annexure. Because that acceptance or non-acceptance comes after some of the other things. Mostly terms and conditions, will be accepted, provided I won't go up to the terms and conditions till I'm okay with the program. So what is
Wonderful,
most
ma'am.
important?
Wonderful.
The program and the learning objectives. Give that in detail, terms and conditions, give it later on as an annexure.
In the form of annexure.
Annex.
Wonderful, ma'am.
So they
Okay,
can
ma'am.
give it. Also, now I'm just going to come this, Shivani, you've given this commitment, action plan, you've given, basically you've given a session plan here. Okay. I have my concerns about giving so much details. It's a proposal. And those of you who are freelancers here will agree with me that very often a proposal is taken and then program is run by themselves because they've got all the details.
बहुत होता है मैडम इसीलिए it is
इसके लिए
advised कि सारी चीजें
अंदर
clear
कितना एजेंडा ऑफ द प्रोग्राम देना या नहीं देना, I want you to think about it. You give the objectives, etc. Absolutely. Methodology, you have said that it is all interactive, will be done by this. You can give the broad topics that will be covered, but pura session plan mat dena because it is usually, it happens, it's the reality.
that
You can
happens.
always put full session plan will be shared and discussed with you and freezed only after approvals, after the proposal is accepted.
And certain amount of payment.
Agree with you, ma'am, but this proposal was designed as an internal team. So I think in that we can share the details or not.
I keep feeling, if it is not helping the decision maker to take the decision, give it as an annexure.
Okay.
Okay. Decision making point है, इसने ये किया है क्या, ये किया है क्या, give 5-6 points and then I'm ready to take a decision. I'm
Okay.
not going to check, breaks कितने दिए हैं, कब दिए हैं, 9 o'clock start हो रहा है या 9:30 को चालू हो रहा है. That is all later on. All the person who is approving it is not interested in that.
True.
Subhasini, last question, then we'll go on.
Yes, ma'am. I just wanted to add to the point that you've just mentioned now. If I were to be a sales head, if I'm approving this training program, who's a business head, and that also especially from sales, inverted commas. So I will look at the learning outcomes which are going to help my staff improve their productivity, whatever efficiency, things like that, and budgeting. And number of days, because these are the things that's going to affect my sales because I'm giving out my people. So apart from this, is there anything that the stakeholder looks at while giving a go ahead? Apart from these three things was my question, ma'am.
So they will also look at the credentials of the person who's taking the training program, even if it is an internal person. Very often, especially the onboarding, नए लोग आ रहे, you give some of the people who are totally inexperienced, don't know anything, because they are free, उनको बोल दो करने के लिए. But it doesn't help in terms of getting our learning objectives done. So Trainer's profile is also important to take the decisions. Training topic is also important to take the decision. Yes, Pradeep.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, I heard a keyword in, from various of my colleagues and from you as well, the content, the length of the document. How wise, ma'am, do you think is adding executive summary immediately after the title to get the sellability from the decision makers?
If
Followed by problem statement and proposed solution.
if your proposal is really a nice thick document, 100 page ka document hai, executive summary is a necessity. Okay, but typically we don't prepare such big documents. Okay, our proposal should not be so big. If it is 4-5 pages, good enough. Even 4-5 pages I feel is very long. Your proposal should be over in maximum 3 pages. That's it. Very clear-cut headings. Very clear-cut. Give the important ones first, the less important one towards the end. Okay, Carleen, anything you want to add?
Ma'am, I have a question here.
Yes.
For example, in this outcome, the objective, the coverage, and the outcome. So if we mention it in like this in a para, will it be fine? Or if we put it in a table, will it be fine? What will give a good impression?
Bullet
while
points are
presenting?
good. See, you can put the goal or the objective as a sentence. That at the end of the training program, the participants will be able to resolve their conflicts, communicate across various locations, and resolve problems creatively. It could be a one-liner. Learning outcomes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, wonderful discussion. Great inputs by everybody. Thank you very much. Let's go to team number 2. Now you're prepared. Training ho gaya, ye wala training. So team building training ho gaya. Now you have to prepare a report.
इसलिए
We
presentation
were
पहले होना
two,
चाहिए.
right? Hitesh sir, you were two.
नहीं, मैं बोल रहा हूँ presentation पहले होना चाहिए तो expectation थोड़ी कम हो जाती है. Puneet, we are going ahead with that.
We are seeing my screen.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll be starting. So for the training report, we had the sales training with ABC Pharma. To start with the training, thank you, Arul sir, for making this presentation. We were doing it in notes earlier, but thank you, Arul sir. Starting with the key observations. First of all, the training was of duration 7 hours in total. Classroom was 5 hours and outbound and experiential was 2 hours. The key observations were that participants demonstrated a high level of enthusiasm and engagement throughout the activities. Trust building exercises significantly improved the participants' confidence in each other. The problem solving challenge highlighted the importance of collaboration and creative thinking. The communication workshop was effective in enhancing participants' communication skills, and the team relay race was a highlight, fostering team spirit and camaraderie and also fun. What were the exact outcomes of it was the one-day team building activity that was of 7 hours successfully achieved its objectives of strengthened relationships, teamwork, trust and communication skills, problem-solving abilities, and moral motivation. The specifics of the training we have here, we had 25 participants. We didn't have any dropout across for the 7 hours. Our group average score of the post assessment regarding product knowledge was 71%, and the same for in detailing of the product was 61%. Overall, for the 25 participants, we had 6 participants which were on the grade A, 16 on B, and 3 on C, and there were nobody on D, so we didn't mention that. Company-wise details, we had the ABM joining of for various companies with us, and their written average was 71%, and as mentioned, 61. Overall, like we had more than 75% score in product knowledge, which is the primary goal of sales training, and the overall assessment of for the after the training improved from 4.5 to 7.2 on a scale of 1 to 10. As an outcome of the training, uh, we we intend to have follow-ups every 3 months. We have the group refresher follow-up meetups, and every 6 months we would have a overall follow-up meet with the trainers for the training.
Can you give me the earlier observations, please? Okay. So from these key observation, it seems like a problem solving, communication, teamwork program. And then the statistics is about product knowledge, etc. That's what you've given, right? Your statistics.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So that's because you didn't have time, or what is it?
Yeah, because
Yes, actually, we want to mention something, but we are not having time.
Okay.
And
Then accepted. Accepted.
yes,
जब
actually,
तक हम
But
डिस्कस कर रहे थे
typically,
वो
हाँ,
चैट रूम ही बंद हो गया.
otherwise your observations, your learning objectives, and the statistics you're giving, they have to be matched totally.
yes,
Typically.
ma'am. That we have to change that actually.
Okay. The report that you're given here. Okay. Others, please comment before I can add to it. Other team.
इतना भी परफेक्ट नहीं था कि कुछ दिखाई नहीं.
No, we are still mulling over what you have given.
In fact, if wanted, probably I can state it because I belong to the same team. But
Okay, yes. Something that more can be
Can we
added.
have slide 4, please?
So ये जो है ना, ये this is just like give specifics and give statistics, but अंदर का मत read करना.
Ma'am, if maybe somebody could explain what they wanted to mention, because all the 3 slides are a little different. So Hitesh was just telling he'd just give some input. So if given an option, what would you input here, or what was
they
the
primarily see what
Please
obviously
come
a
on.
report should contain is primarily a mailer type of thing where all these attachments or the mail content can be a little lesser. You obviously, this is an attachment which is being exhibited where you have a draft being mailed in where you are containing a snapshot of the entire program. It gives you visibility of the entire program with some dashboard type of thing, which will make it more much more appealing for that matter rather than more of theory. The content, obviously, we can definitely discuss upon and understand. Is primarily good companies, small companies. Do we want that variation as statistics to come in the report? That is something which we need to discuss and debate, probably.
For a team building program of salespeople from one company.
Matlab,
Yes,
we
ma'am.
want to look at from an overall company point of view, or you want to consider a dynamics of a small company or an outsider or something?
No.
That is
Actually,
something which we
You're
need to
reporting on a training program that was conducted.
yes, ma'am. So,
Statistics has to be with reference to the training.
yes, ma'am. Actually, here, what we are trying to focus here is because the candidates whom we selected for the training program, that means who are recently appointed by the HR, they are having different working culture. Maybe someone may be a multinational companies, what we call as good companies or that. And the second thing we call as small companies. Small companies means the strength and the number of team members will be very less. So obviously they have a different lifestyle performance. Like, see, the person who came from the multinational company, he has a different lifestyle approach of their MEs, their subordinates. Whereas the person who came from Indian background or Indian companies, they have the different working culture and they have the different approach also. So that is the main thing what we are focusing in this particular point, because we can't. It is a sort of reservation type, we can say. We can't say that everyone is same, right? A person who came from the multinational company may have a different qualities and quantities and approach, the way of communication. The person who came from the small company with a more amount of enthusiasm and who want to succeed in his life, he has a different skill. So we can't evaluate both of them in the same parameter. You got it, ma'am? Because if you are evaluating both of them in the same parameter, because they are from the same, they are working on the same company, then we are not justifying their potential.
Okay, let me just give you another perspective here. Okay, so rather than, see, we are talking about a report about the training. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So we have to look at pre-training.
Mm.
What was the score? Post-training, what was the score? And which background they come from is immaterial here.
Yes, ma'am. It is mentioned in the last point. If you see, we mentioned that the assessment value got improved from 4.5 to 7.2. That clearly says that the pre-evaluation of this same candidates was just 4.5. After the day one completion of the training program, it got increased to 7.2.
Yes. Then
So we can't
earlier
provide
one,
everything here. Rightly, Hitesh sir told that we can't provide everything here. When you're writing an email, we wrote like this, but we provide all the supporting documents in the attached format, like Excel sheet or whatever it is.
in fact, this report that I feel is like an executive summary. That is why there's so many questions on this.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
feeling
it's
same
a
for me.
very, very short one where you're talking. The first is the title slide. Second is the key observation. Third, I don't remember. Fourth is evaluation.
Third is outcome.
Outcomes. Fifth is way forward. So
Okay.
this is basically nothing but an executive summary. This is what we should give.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. But if you give these statistics in your summary slide, the person reading it will be thoroughly confused. You can give the last one that, okay, the participants were, there was a pre-test given on different parameters. These were the scores, and there has been a marked improvement of, 100% in, or whatever percentage that is, that you can give.
Okay.
But this will be all confusing to the reader, because now look at Arul sir, you have to explain these statistics to us.
Yeah.
Where a person reading it should not need an explanation. So when
Okay.
you're putting it again, even in your detailed reports, whatever you put in, please give that information.
Okay.
Okay.
I believe in this case,
Subhasini,
a
yes.
dashboard would have helped in terms of getting more clarity in terms of visibility.
Good. Yes, it will. See, what you put in there is again no hard and fast rule. So just because I say doesn't mean that you have to agree with it. Every company, every organization, every assumption that you have made. Now you're assuming that these are new freshers who have joined, which we didn't know. So I'm not looking at that at all. Now, therefore, your scoring and statistics are different. So everybody, the statistics that you have are going to be different.
In the
Whoever
stipulated
they-
time, I would actually acknowledge that Arul was able to present so many things in place.
Yes. I want you to connect the statistics to what you have given in your proposal.
Awesome.
Typically, that is what you should do. So if you have said that, we expect the customer satisfaction to increase by so much, so that this, and therefore we are taking this. So right now, we can't predict, because how will we know? Abhi to training ho gaya hai. So this will be monitored by individual managers, and we will be able to report on this by the end of 3 months. Right now, what we have done is this, and therefore, earlier things were handled this way, now they are handled this way. Post-test was taken. This is the assessment. These are things that you should go. Whatever you are given in your proposal, connect it out here. Okay, now, when you're the detailed report, Subhasini, you have a question?
Ma'am, I was just asking now, the topic what you gave us was looking at the sales aspect as a whole. But what Arul was trying to tell, based on different lifestyle or the background that they come, should be treated separately. Maybe that can be taken as a different training, looking at the background. But this was the sales training as a whole.
No.
There is
Actually,
also another thought to it.
Actually-
It's the increase of the total average score. from 4.5, it just went to 5.2, let's say.
The
Then
thing
the
is, ma'am,
analysis would be why.
yeah,
Because so and so people came from so and so background, etc., etc. So this is another detailed analysis also. See, just because we are doing training doesn't mean that our trainings are always successful. Okay, there are times when they are not. For example, there was you all have these project reports to be done. Now, I was a guide to a girl. She did her project under me, and it was very sincerely done. But the communication, training that was conducted over whatever number of days, it was not successful. The post feedback was that has been no change. So in our report, we had to analyze this also, that the feedback was poor, and then there was again a survey done, and then what was the way forward. Okay, so then the major points came up that, okay, we focused on the communication, but problem was with the English, and English cannot be taught in one day. So now we have to have an extensive daily or 3 times a week program. So again, if our program is not successful, our evaluations way forward are going to be totally different. Statistics are also going to be different.
Can I add something to this?
Yes, please, Hitesh.
You mentioned about the feedback mechanism. Many times it's an observation, obviously. Is that many times the participants also don't understand what is the feedback content, because their interpretation of most unlikely and most likely, those are distinct. But many times they actually label us at 1. They wanted to label it as 5. So that
Yes.
also makes a lot of difference.
So always a problem. There was one time the feedback form was given, and I think the person who prepared the feedback form, instead of giving 1 as the lowest and 5 as the highest, the key was other way around. And half the people didn't look at the key. Oh, 1 is lowest, 5 is highest करके उल्टा दे दिया. And I was reading that, and I was totally stunned. I had got the ones I read, 4 of them were 1s. So I then talked to them. I said, what is the problem? Why did you not like it? He said, of course I liked it. Where I'm saying no, I didn't like it. So I said, look at your feedback. Look at what I'm given 5, no. So I said, it's the worst. No, ऐसा है नहीं. So I said, look at the key. So we had to redesign. We had to re-administer that whole feedback form, telling that the answer key 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 का मतलब क्या है. So these things happen, and therefore, even if it's an outsider and feedback is collected, you as an training professional should be very alert as to what people are giving. And somebody who's given a very low or below average rating, we must talk to him or her, talk to that participant to understand why they have given it. Because this is what our report is all about. कि अगर किसी को अच्छा नहीं लगा है ट्रेनिंग, so was it the problem with the trainer, or your objectives and uska learnings did not match? All these things we'll have to talk about, no? Because these are our lessons learned, and a report must consist all this. But before that, as trainers, when we are collected feedback, maybe the trainer is an external trainer. And usually nowadays, most companies say that we will send you a link and you please fill in the link and give your feedback. Now that's the problem, because now you will have to talk to that person who has probably gone back to Chennai and ask, "Arey, apne rating kitna kam kyun diya? What was the problem?" Okay. So these are additional responsibilities that we have as a trainer. And reports must include the feedback. अच्छा रहेगा तो give it. Quantifiable, definitely give a rating. That average rating about the trainer was 4.2 on 5. Average rating about the material was 4.1 on 5. Give an average rating, but average doesn't give everything. Na? For the simplest example, you're trying to figure out, let's say, how much tip is given to a hotel. Simple example. 10, 20, 30, you're calculating average. And suddenly Bill Gates comes and he gives a tip of 1,000 rupees. Will your average be skewed? So statistics are very dangerous, okay? If you're giving an average, there has to be a standard deviation. So the peripherals, or what do you say, outliers, they need to be mentioned. Or you remove that. एक ही बंदे ने 1,000 रुपए दे दिया. बाकी का average is 20. But if I include that 1,000, then the average is totally wrong. And that's not going to really give you any details. So these are things I want you to be concerned about. Where you give an average, where you give an absolute figures. There has been some, below average ratings, comments from the, the subjective ones, not just the ratings, but we ask them, no, what is the best thing you liked about the program, or what are the 30 most important learnings about the program, or something that that could be improved in the program. Give some of these highlights. Mostly if it is blank, छोड़ दो. But अगर किसी ने कुछ really अच्छा लिखा है, मतलब अच्छा in terms of feedback, which could be developmental also, make a note of it. Because this is the report that you are going to use to develop your next programs. So अगर अगले साल you want to go for a sales training again, have a look at this report. Check क्या अच्छा हुआ, check नहीं अच्छा, what didn't go so well, and then decide कि आगे क्या करना है. So these are therefore very important part of your report. The feedback that is received, the analysis that you've received, learning outcomes kya the and how much has been achieved. Way forward, definitely all that you have taken care of. Annexures, now isme bhi annexures de do na. All the slides that has been used by the trainer, give it, or the training material that has been provided, manuals रहेगा, कुछ workbooks रहेगा, give that. Give the feedback forms, keep it as an attachment, or whatever analysis that you have done and whatever tool you have used for analysis, please give that. If there's a pre-test, post-test, uski copies de do. Those are all attachments. Why? Now, this is all for our, what do you say, record. So, ISO के लिए लगते हैं, internal audit के लिए लगते हैं. Your boss might ask you, show me some of the feedback forms. अच्छा बोला है. And then you will say, nee, let me search for it. Should be there. It's included as annexure 10. So details they do, but little. Executive summary, very important here. Okay, and rather now this is something earlier I said, no, किसी ने बोला था table दे दूं क्या, या bullet points दे दूं, या paragraphs लिखो. Use graphs here. Okay. One very important point that was put in by this team was that, how many people attended and were they there throughout. This is extremely important. Because all those who are working, I'm sure you will know na, that 30 लोगों को invite भेजते हैं, 30 people confirm, उसके पहले वाले दिन भी they confirm, and then there are no shows. So finally you have 15 people in front of you. And those bichare log are, calling up, अरे Simantini क्या हो गया? नहीं, मुझे एक urgent call आया, I can't come. And this becomes a culture of the company, which also shows that then people are not serious about training. But if I call up in the morning at 9 o'clock and tell you after you call up, कि क्यों मैं नहीं आ रही हूँ, this should be reported. It should be reported to my manager. It should be reported to the H&D L&D head, because there's a cost, na? You have to pay the trainer as much as you have decided. And now instead of 25 people, you have trained only 15 people. So let it get driven from there. So if HOD was now going to, in their HOD meetings, tell that, your team के 3 लोगों ने हाँ बोला था, पहले दिन confirm किया, next day आया नहीं, ऐसे कैसे चलेगा? Now you take care of the costing. So that next training program के लिए, the HOD has a vested interest in ensuring that his team who is nominated attends. And the seriousness of the training also is percolated to everybody. So that details that this team has put up in the training, very, very important. Now, sales training, if they're coming all over India, they will say, no, मेरी train सुबह 11 बजे आ गई. Some will say, no, मेरा जाने का 4 बजे का है. So ultimately, full 35 people you're going to get for 3 hours. And we're talking about collaboration. We're talking about bonding amongst these salespeople. Then it's not served its purpose. So bring these points up also that it's an 8-hour training program. 8-hour people should be there. Okay. Even if you're an external trainer, mention this. That mostly there were 2 people who had to go early. They left at 4 o'clock. And mention their names. What the company does about it, now as an external person, doesn't matter to you. Internally, it's very important because now you have to change you will help changing the culture of the company looking at training. Okay. What else?
Can we mention during the learning journey what is the methodology that we have used?
Sorry, what was that, Hitesh?
During the learning journey, can we mention about the methodology or the quizzes executed?
Yes, that is actually what, topics covered.
Training material
Methodology covers and the learnings of the
connection.
topics. They are actually very important here.
And that will be a good showcase for the various
Yes.
methodologies that we use.
It is very important. So all the things that you were actually, I told you not to include in the proposal. Now you can include.
Ma'am, should I add my personal exciting experience with this one?
Of course, sure, please.
What happens actually apart from the papers, on the papers, the course training and official parts? So first of all, we need to take the expectations. We need to in an articulated form or in a written form. So most of the people will not be able to write down that what they are expecting from this training. The first thing is that is on their mind. They might be having some different motto. So if I say in the context of sports, so people come to the coach, what is their intention? That is everybody is having their different mottos. So they will not be able to disclose at a very instant or at a very first meet. So first thing is that their expectations. And second, even this is also being used by some of the big think tanks and all before they invite any trainees or any training program. So that is what it is. And the expectations are relevant to the training or not. Is what you have said, communication skill is not a problem. The problem is what the individual is poor in particular language, like Tamil, Hindi, English, French, or whatever it is. So that is where the trainer has to see whether it is relevant or not. Second thing is what during the training, the trainer has to develop a very strong rapport. Then only they will be able
I'm
to.
going to interrupt here. I'm so sorry.
Yes,
You've
ma'am.
given a very good thing about what a trainer should do in the program.
Right,
We are
ma'am.
just because we are short of time, I'm just going to stop you. You're
It's
saying
okay, it's
this
okay,
is
ma'am.
very important, but none of this need not be included in our report.
That cannot be, ma'am. Everything it is not written. I have never seen this thing in a written form.
Yes.
Even people give dash.
Yeah.
Or
So
very good or high.
I'm just because of shortage of time, I'm just zooming in towards our objectives. दूसरा कुछ
Yes,
नहीं कि
ma'am. I
report
have
कैसे
covered
बनाना
only
और ये
2
कैसे.
words were there. I have covered already. The repo is important.
Vikram, yes.
Yeah, I think just a quick as well. I will try to share the currently what experience I did, especially with the report writing. So there was one of the project that we did with the customer end. It was worth of around 250,000 euros, and it was a quite a big project, especially for the training. At the end, whatever points that you mentioned, so the customer asked us to have those points as part of the learning report, the training outcomes or the training report, and we submitted, I think, all these points that you have already mentioned there. Try to submit it all those points with the datas, with the statistics, what was the pre-test evaluation, what was the post-test evaluation within the report into a word format. And I think certainly one or 2 points which I think maybe we can add as well, the challenge and solutions as well, what we applied into the training. That is the one thing which we added. And the last thing which we added additionally into it, like what is the way forward. So that gives us a reflection that, okay, what could be additionally can solve by this other intervention that we can apply into the training. And that leads to the training, I would say, that contract. So that, okay, this is remaining,
So
and you
Vikram
can
is
come
now
back.
giving a new proposal in the report itself.
That's what I did. And we additionally got like another 100,000 euro of the training contract for the next step.
Absolutely.
So I think that's what recently has
So
been sharing.
highlight everything that is gone very well and how you did it very well. So
Yeah.
now, see, you will not notice that a outsider preparing a report, an insider preparing a report, and a trainer preparing a report. Thoda difference rahega.
Exactly.
So if I'm a trainer and I'm preparing a report to be given to the client, मेरा अलग रहेगा कि मैंने क्या किया है. I will highlight that and how I was able to achieve it. As a vendor
Agree.
also I will do it. As an internal person who is taking care of that program, they may or may not be able to do this, or they may or may not want to highlight it as well. But way forward, definitely. How to go forward. Whether training was successful, we need follow-ups, we need further coaching for few people. Senior management program wo bhi heta hai na, like everything we have taught, but now XYZ is a high potential person. We are looking at him for a very senior post. He's come up to this level. ये दो टॉपिक में उनको हम लोग फाइनली थोड़ा कोचिंग देते हैं, which is हटके from our training. That also could be a way forward. So these are all things that you could put up in your reports. Okay, now just a quick thing before we stop. We are going to meet at 2 o'clock again. Other things, making it accurate, the 7 C's we have discussed. 2 or 3 more major points, they're simple to understand, but I've put them in the slides. So when I share the slides with you, this will be an addition, but we have not discussed it. That's what I want to tell you. All right. So right now we'll stop and we'll start again at 2 o'clock. And now we will go into a detailed session plan. Okay. So till then, have a good lunch and I'll see you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.